Okay, I want to put this on. It's about Civvy Street when I left the army. As you can see, I've got on my Gordon Highlanders badge. Got on my Scottish or a Scottish bonnet. Never sure if it sits right. I can't remember exactly where it used to have to sit above your eyebrows, but here you go. Anyway, for my army mates, all the ones that are still here. Since walking out the gates of Fort George, Ardeshir, I had mixed feelings, happy and sad. Sad only because I would miss my mates, my pals. It's hard to leave behind guys you had done so much with. Training, grueling, tortuous training. We were all rebels before joining up. Long hair, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. We were, most of us were just hippies, I suppose. Loud music, all left behind and walking through the gates of Glencoe's barracks in Edinburgh. All fell away as soon as our hair hit the floor. An army haircut. We had signed away our youth, for a few years anyway. All gone, to replace by an automaton, an obedient servant of the crown for a few quid. Unemployment, different reasons. Some lads grabbed the army rather than go to jail. I know one guy who done that. He'd have probably landed up in jail or a remand home, but he was offered the army anyway, not to worry. He done alright for himself. Here you go. It all fell away as soon as our hair hit the floor, an army haircut. We'd signed away our youth. I'm repeating myself again. All gone. An obedient servant of the crown for a few quid. Our anti-establishment rebellion lay on the floor. Some wept, that's the truth. One lad broke his heart. I thought he was going to get over it, but as soon as that hair hit the floor, within an hour he was always sidling up to me and saying, "John, let's go over the top." Over the top. Now, I think over the top was an army expression for when the whistle blew in the battle lines and they had to go over the top to face the enemy. But he had changed it. Over the top meant to run away. He wanted me to run away with him. Not with him, but run away from the army. But I couldn't do it. I had just ran into the army basically to get out of unemployment, so I don't know what my friend was going to do. He wanted to be in the band, the army band, but then we found out they was going to put him to Northern Ireland after his Glencoe's training. He just about flipped his lid. Anyway, I wasn't going over the top with him. Anyway, some wept, some laughed. I laughed outwardly, but inside I wept. If it hadn't been for unemployment, my housing situation, both of them, everything there, the kids, Maureen, I would never have comprehended the forces. It went against the grain, something terrible, but needs must. Anyway, 4 years had passed. I ran the streets of Belfast with my mates, had abuse heaped on our shoulders from some quarters in Anderson town. A good few bullets fired in our direction. Some Gordons fell, but for the most part came through unscathed, with a deep affinity for our mates. Move on to Singapore. Beautiful. Not so trudging through the jungles of Malaysia, the steaming, thorn-ridden, leech-filled, stinking, sweaty jungle. The rain pissed down, the leeches clung, the water tablets before drinking. We had to put them into the water, obviously, before we drank it. They were absolute both. They were ghastly. The compo rations were pretty grim, but they cook it in a tiny little wee stove. Oh, the joys. But for the most part, we laughed through it all. Strange, is it? Black humour. Belfast, bullets flying. You've always got humour. Very strange human race, have we? Somebody fires a bullet at your head and 10 minutes later all your mates is finding jokes to laugh about. I suppose it's how we get by. Anyway, we laughed like kids at the stupid of things. It was army humour. It helped. Some guys were medevaced out. That means you get the chopper in, helicopter in to get them out because they couldn't take it. Some cracked, but we got through it to have a pint later on in Bogie Street with the lady boys sitting at our table. What fun. They were great fun. They really were. Especially once you got to know them. When you... No, sorry. They were great fun, especially once they got to know you and they dropped their guard or get pissed and dropped the feminine voice. Really strange. It really is strange having a man's voice coming out of a beautiful woman's mouth, because they were beautiful lady boys. They were absolutely stunning. Small shoulders, small hips, beautiful faces, beautiful bone structure. But always you spotted that windpipe. Anyway, it led to some even stranger nights. That's another story. That's another story. It never involved me. I don't think, I can't remember, but no, it didn't. It didn't involve me. Anyway, but it was all fun, being stupid with your mates. For the most part, think of yourself as a young kid. Think of playing cowboys and Indians, hide and seek, building gang huts, chasing the girls, getting drunk. Then you have the army life, I suppose. The Gordons, they were just as bad. Do I miss it all? You bet your sweet ass I do. Some of it, but I don't miss the discipline. In fact, I never got used to it. The rebel hippie never left. He stayed. So I had to get out, plus other reasons, which are other stories coming shortly. But I really miss my mates. Miss the daftness, the craziness, the adventure, the adrenaline rush, even the danger. Strange, is it? So I masked up at Fort George Gates. I still think of my army mates. Civvy Street for the most part has been boring. I still chase adventures. Got me into a lot of bother. A lot of bother. It's probably why I'm sitting here now. Just me and my son. Well. I still chase adventures even now. Crazy, is it? Always looking for that rush. It won't come. Well, I wouldn't say that. It won't come. That's other stories. I left it behind the gates at Fort George. I left it in the streets of Belfast. Left it up the Malaysian jungle. Left it in Singapore, scattered over Bogie Street. In front of Clifford Pier with a couple of bottles of local brandy. I remember it well. Aye. Scattered around the Anchor and Tiger empties into Naffy. Holland Village claimed my soul. So did the mates of the Gordons. Take care, guys. Civvy Street is shit. Bore.com right enough. Bye, Dan, me old pals. If you're still on the go. Bye. Toodaloo.